It seemed like a normal day in the Lightmare Studios office, but what was about to happen would shape and change their company forever. 3 were killed and another 7 were injured. Dragons in the workplace may seem like a good idea, but they are a severe threat to your health and a hazard. Look out, or face the consequences. Welcome everybody to another episode of the InfinityCast. We're back!
Welcome back! Yeah!
So, we should start off just by saying, apologies for the delays. Because of the big bad so sad virus going around, it wasn't really safe to do anything. We are one of the blessed people in the promised land of Melbourne, which has had 0 cases in like 40, 50 to or something.
But one of the longest lockdowns in the world. Everyone's sort of escaping, and this has been great to get together and do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello everyone, and we'll probably welcoming a whole bunch of other people that are coming onto the cast now because of our current shift and stuff, which is where we're going to go to. But before we do that, how have we all been? Is there anything else we want to say personally?
It's been tiring being in an environment where the only thing you have to do is work or not work.
Yeah.
And often we find ourselves battling with those sorts of challenges every single day. And it's been really interesting. What about you guys?
Yeah, it's been a bit rough, being stuck in my same room for like 7-8 hours a day writing code. So yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah,
for like 6 months.
You do love that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There was a hint of sarcasm because I love it too. I was loving it being at home, and got a whole bunch of stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, just definitely. It's been certainly quite the year for everyone, and and none of us have quite escaped some of the ups and downs. But overall, we've gotten a lot done since our last cast, and we should talk about that.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll start probably with the IW Classic being our focus at the moment. So, as you may be aware, we've been building out this engine, the Infinity Card engine, and we're now in the gamma build of that. And very happy with the progress that's happening there, and the things that we're building into that system. Many of those systems are actually applicable across all the games. So we've been building up a few different systems in particular. Like since we last did a cast, there would have been the custom card engine stuff, which is in there now. So you can literally put any card you want, any piece of art that you have access to, and you can put onto your characters, and then they'll be showing up in your game, but not in other players' games.
Right.
So
we've added lots of new things like our external passives. We've got cards that can modify deck building. We've got lots of new options for our effect nodes as we're making more and more cards, porting over cards to IWC. There's been lots of behind the scenes stuff been going on. It's been real exciting.
Even just the prototype of the deck builder is worth talking about. I think that's mainly your love of labor, I believe, Corey.
Yeah, I built that deck builder in a week. It was 1 week. I wrote down the entire class design hierarchy and drawn it out to see how I would do it, because I wanted to make it clean. And I did it. I did it in a week, and I was really happy with it.
He came to us as like, hey,
a few bugs.
This is the prototype, and we're like, this is really good for a prototype. So there's been most of it's pretty much the same. You did really solid effort on that.
Yeah, I was really happy with that. So,
Infinity Wars Classic has been our focus, especially as we've been getting lots of interest. We've got all the Patreons. It's been really great to see the excitement. To have like some of our first tournaments, which we will talk about soon. And where we know there's still lots of some people are having issues. There's lots of optimization to do.
But one of the ice systems we brought in is the bug reporting.
So please, if you have any issues, use our in-game bug reporting, because that sends us like the back-end logs, and so we can pinpoint the problems much faster than we used to. Issues that would have taken us 2 or 3 days to find and fix now take hours, because we can know, okay, this is the logs, we recreate the problem perfectly, we can find the issue, and we can fix it really quickly. So please, if you're having any crashes or any or just any errors or desyncs or anything, please use the bug reporting system that we've got in the game, or send your player logs into the bug reporting section in the Discord. There's instructions there.
That's great. Yeah, so anything else on Classic, the actual systems and stuff we want to bring across to the guys? The main thing is that you can jump in and play now. It is on Patreon. Like I said, we've got a whole bunch of people coming on board, especially in the past couple of weeks, which has been really exciting, seeing a whole bunch of people come on board after we let them know it was out. If you've got that hankering for a bit of Infinity Wars Classic and you want to be able to access every single card in the game currently as it's loaded up, then that's the way to do that. Jump onto the Patreon. And then, for $5, which is $2 a month, you can have access to everything. And that includes now Discord invites as well, which is now working. So custom games can be done. And obviously the queue, there's a looking for game Patreon area, which has been quite alive actually over the past couple of weeks. So there's a bunch of games happening. And speaking of a bunch of games, we did have a bunch of games on the weekend.
Yes, indeed. So we had last month in November, we had our first ever competitive tournament for Infinity Wars Classic, which was the November Summit Championship. And we only had 4 participants for that, but everyone had a great time and fun all around. And we decided, because, there is a lot of competitiveness to Infinity Wars, and we really want to try and, hone in on that and really drill that home as a potential selling point. And we've decided, for the end of the year, we should celebrate. So we did the Infinity Wars Classic 2020 Championship, which saw a lot more people showing up, and we doubled our prize money that we wanted to put forward. Because one of the communications that you may or may not have seen from us is that everything we get from Patreon, 10% of it goes directly back into a competitive prize pool, but end of the year, we decided to splurge out just a little bit for increased prize pool. So I should just quickly give a shout out and a congratulations to Merlini for winning that. Congratulations to him. It was a bit of a tournament favorite going into it. It was kind of a little bit like the raid boss, I guess you can call him. But well played, well deserved, and we look forward to seeing who can take him on next time.
Yeah, so there'll be another tournament in January. For the next couple of weeks, probably worth bouncing to this point that we will be off for a little bit, but just giving the heads up on that. We'll talk about a bit more about that later. What else did we learn from the tournament coming away from it?
I mean, it kind of pointed out a couple of minor internal communication issues that we have, and gave us a chance to look at how we internally track, bugs and what is most important and stuff, and we were able to create new systems regarding bug tracking and where things are in the pipeline to being fixed, and also gave us the chance to prioritize and things not only on how important they are to the game, but also how easy they are to fix. I believe we've got a couple of bugs from November that have no data on them, and we know they exist, but we don't know where. But there's also bugs that are coming up, we had a bug yesterday. Corey fixed it an hour ago. And we've got a huge system.
Yeah, we've got a really good turnaround now. It's even the first couple of days of the week at least are always done by Corey on bug fixing and getting the thing going. So because of this sort of shift to a competitive focus as well, we want to make sure that people are able to play the game very, very well, especially if they're having friendly bets with their mates or whatever, or participating in any of the cash money tournaments. So one of the cool things though coming out of it as well is that we've been noticing there's a whole bunch of bug fixing that's happening, but also balancing that we're starting to do, especially with that focus on competitive. We want to make sure that the game is balanced and that cards have a use, and there's a card that came up this morning, I didn't even hear of it because it's not being used in any kind of competitive play. So it'll be, we've got that going on the spreadsheet now, so all the gold backers are on that and providing feedback. Now, of course, if you're not a gold backer, even if you're not a backer and you have something very cool to suggest, please feel free to comment down below with your ideas around balancing cards and stuff, and maybe what cards you want to see in the game soon, because we are actually prioritizing the cards that we load on, obviously primarily based on the cards that we could put in and using the systems and the stuff that's already coded in, all the features and the keywords. But if there are other cards that you're wanting to see play in, make a comment down below and we might put it in for you.
There's always that balance between adding new content. We've got over 300 cards now in Infinity Wars Classic, but also we want to make sure that any new cards we're adding are well tested and adding to the environment, and that are actually going to be fan favorites as well. We want to add the cards that you guys want to see.
Yeah, and so on that point as well, so we are actually now taking a bit of a different approach. We've been doing some bug fixes and balance changes recently, and it's been working well, but we're thinking, why don't we just actually take a look at each card as it comes in and see, should we be balancing this, bringing this back up to, the 2020 meta that's evolving already in the set. I'm seeing a lot of Alita, Immortal Tinkerer, and support bots around. So we're actually taking a serious look in balancing, or probably more obviously it's better to buff rather than nerf, but we were looking at balancing out those cards for competitive play as well. So yeah,
and especially as we continue making some of the cards for factions like Exiles that didn't, or Overseers that might not have actually had the card base initially and the tools to them. We want to make sure that every card that we do add for them is useful enough, is up to a level where it's they've got the ability to actually be usable.
Yes. So there we are. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but that's actually one big thing we are looking at. So obviously we want to keep everything as close as possible to Classic, and that was always the intention. Sorry, close as possible to IW1, that was always the intention in the first place with Classic. But as an active game that's now being played and having these tournaments and stuff, we want to actually update things as well and then balance things out. So by all means, give your feedback on that.
One of the things I do want to actually quickly talk about is when we're discussing balance and stuff, I need to give a quick shout out to the council, who have been doing absolutely amazing work. Their in-depth knowledge from the competitive scene from like 2014, 2015, not really something that we naturally just have access to, and they've been absolutely amazing, volunteering their time, and have been giving us some amazing insights into specific cards and interactions that we just didn't even really think about at first.
That's right.
And, yeah.
And double highlight for Grin and Jin, actually, in particular. He's
been doing amazing work.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for your efforts there, man. It's definitely, we're listening to a lot of it, and we're actually implementing a lot of it, and you'll start seeing that in patch notes very soon.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing that we learned from that the whole experience is that we're seeing a lot of promising results. As everybody that goes to these tournaments, they're having a great time. Whether they win or lose, they're like, dude, this is really fun to be back in this competitive environment again. So I think that once we get into alpha and beta stages, which is still probably a while away, we want to try and get in-client tournament support to make running these sorts of things so much easier, and to actively promote this sort of thing going forward, because this is like a really good potential thing for our game, is to be a competitive, really like PvP focused title, and to really drill down on the competitive aspects of things.
Yeah. It's good. I think it's there for part one of our final InfinityCast for the year.
Yeah.
So we'll be back after the break, and
we will be back in just a moment with a new person. Will we say goodbye to Ruben?
Ruben will be transforming. I'm going to be careful with my words here. He'll be transforming into somebody else now. So
I gotta get back to it. Fix these bugs, etc.
That's all good.
See you guys after the break. Thanks, man. Cheers.
You must be disappointed.
Putting it lightly.
These worlds were never meant to interact, and yet rifts have broken out across the Omniverse, linking these worlds to one another.
And the chaos ensued.
One by one, nations and factions were overwhelmed. With the potential for the sleeper virus to end all life as we know it, people began searching for a savior.
Salvation came.
Not exactly. Sol's overseers destroyed all living things on the old world and closed the rifts to Avarok. The sleepers were wiped out, but they weren't the only ones.
A genocide to preserve life.
Seems there was no better option. But now, the worlds are more divided than ever, with groups no longer following flags. They're instead following the people who were once holding them highest, that they personally know and trust. The factions are splitting and falling into chaos.
And your own body.
Well, I have now fused my two selves into one. The Honor, Vigilance, and Ascendance are fighting the Shadow Demon, Death Magic, and the now dormant Sleeper Virus. In the end though, despite the cost, we're at least able to stop the mysterious great evil that was forewarned.
That has not yet happened.
Wait, what? There's more?
Much more.
Well, that's cryptic, but okay. We'll just have to keep fighting for the sake of the Omniverse, accompanied by those brave enough to fight alongside us, to protect those we care for, and create a better reality for all, one world at a time.
One request.
What's that?
Go build a team. You're not good enough to do this by yourself. You'd surely fail.
You may be right, but this time, we'll be ready.
Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the InfinityCast, and I want to introduce one of our newest faces on board, Kat. Woo! So for those of you that see the tournament videos and our Patreon video, you have seen her around a little bit, but it's her first time being on the actual cast. Tell us a little bit about what you do here.
I pretty much just draw stuff. Like, I've done a few cards, I made the cool little cursor, and I've done a few things for the website, and like...
Just basically all the drawings type stuff.
Yeah,
really.
drawing.
And animation.
Stuff, yeah, pretty much.
It's great. You've done a whole bunch of cards as well. So basically about 3/4 of the cards you've been seeing so far recently, of the newer ones, the newest ones, have been done by Caitlin. I know Nero was done by you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Looking great. Very cool. You definitely caught the Infinity Wars style of art, which is great.
Yeah.
And you've also got quite a range in your art as well, which is good as well. So, yeah, welcome to the team. So, yeah, lots of things happening.
Yeah, welcome. Segueing off of that, we can talk a little bit about our current content schedule and everything that's coming out. So, for those of you that have seen it, which is likely most of you, we've got community updates that are happening every 2 or so weeks whenever we have something to share regarding Infinity Wars Classic, because it's the main thing that we're focusing on, while we've got the Infinity card engine also developing in the background as well. And we've also got the internal dev tournament video 4 and 5 that are on the way. Because we're taking a bit of a Christmas break for a couple of weeks starting soon, those videos won't actually hit until January, but they will be eventually out, and then you'll get to see who wins the ultimate prize of lunch.
That's right, because we're down to the final, but we're not going to reveal who's in it, right?
Yeah, we haven't told them who's in the final just yet, but it will be a very exciting matchup to see. It's Ultimate Glory, a prize that we all wish that we had. I wasn't even allowed to compete. Really sad times, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's got to be a judge to make these things run. So, yeah, and other content stuff that we actually get to talk about, and I'm going to skip ahead of our notes just a little bit. We released a new story and lore dump, didn't we?
Yes, we did. So that was for the interview, which Caitlin did the art for, and actually I wrote a lot of the...
You were the main writer.
I was the main writer of that, so that was great. Pulling together a lot of all the... getting not too much away. It's a really great snapshot of all of the history of Infinity Wars, and particularly Heroes as well. What's happening up until that point. So you're getting the latest info on what's happening with all of the world of Infinity Wars and Infinity Heroes. So yeah, very cool. And Agent Cool stars in it, along with Mikhail, Agent Kale. So Agent Kale. Should I say that yet? Kale.
Yeah,
we'll just say Kale for now.
We have confirmed that Kale has been scouted by Agent Coyle, and this is actually the story that happens in where they first meet and they form a bit of a connection. We find his skill set. It's like, all right, you know what? You can jump on board. And yeah, it's Kale who becomes very shortly Agent Kale. Joins the Agent Coyle and Agent Cheryl in their quest for something.
We will find out later on down the line, maybe a couple of sets from now, actually.
I believe so.
Yeah. Speaking of which, obviously we're creating a lot of art for the next set, which will be the Infinity Wars 2 opening set. But yeah, with the system that we've developed, it's all interconnected. So every bit of play you do in Infinity Heroes, IW2 or IW Classic is all going through the same progression system. And yeah, I mean, I've personally, as a designer, learned a lot from watching the COD system and how they are able to connect everything together. So we're definitely learning a lot from them. So thanks, Activision. And what else? XCT has come out as well. So we've had a Kickstarter that was successful a couple of months ago. So made the full funneling on that, which is great. And yeah, there was some really cool art that's come out. Actually, Kate did the trailer for it, or at least the animated part of that trailer. Which covers. What do you want to say about that?
I mean, the XCT story is one that I actually, as like the main lore guy internally, got to work on a fair bit, and it brings in the championship from the Extreme Championship tournament and takes their best characters and throws them into the Infinity Wars world to just kind of see what happens. it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see, where this character goes, and it's also going to be one of the first comics, I believe, made in Australia that actually gives the audience, you guys at home, the ability to impact the story. It's like a collective choose-your-own-adventure where
From title to title.
Yeah. You all get to choose after episode 1 where do they go for episode 2, and then based on popular vote.
Issue 2. Yeah.
Issue, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
And based on the popular vote of all the backers and stuff, that dictates directly which way the story goes.
Yeah, I really love the XCT universe and Sean who created it. It's actually the biggest indie comic in Australia. So got a really, really great library of content that he's built over the years, and amazing art style. The people he gets on board to do it, the way he runs a Kickstarter, it's incredible. Like he's a really, really great creator, and so we're really excited to have now completed the Kickstarter, and the pages are starting to come through now. We're seeing Iberian and I can't do any more spoilers. So check it out. It's really, really good, really cool. What else? Infinity Heroes. So we should talk a little bit about that.
Infinity Heroes. Speaking of XCT, that brought out the Spartacus hero, and so that's one of the new heroes that's come in due to that XCT comic, which is alongside 2 new other heroes that have been released, Nero and the Seer. And so there's a sort of new decks to play if you are running Infinity Heroes, that sort of brought a lot of new content. Yeah.
The cool thing is if you're not running Infinity Heroes because you want to wait for it to be free, which we'll be going to an open beta launch. Thank you. Going to an open beta launch soon-ish. Then you can still actually get it through Infinity Wars itself. You can actually go to the other branch and download Classic if you just want to play Classic. You can find out all about that on the Patreon. So we should. I would love to do a shout out to the Patreon people. I don't have their list in front of me. We normally would do a readout, but we'll do that probably in the end of it. So big thanks to.
I'll be editing in that at the end of this video, just as I want to kind of start doing that more just internally for anything that talks about Infinity Wars Classic. Just be like, hey, these are our patrons. Thank you guys so much. Couldn't do this without you. Much love, etc., etc.
And we've been getting a lot more patrons actually. It's been arcing up over the past week or two, which is really exciting.
I can actually bring something up about that.
Yeah, I wanted to just address something actually around that. So just an overarching thing of I think I remember seeing a comment of you've only got like a few $100s a month or whatever it is coming in from the Kickstarter. So from the Patreon. So obviously we have a lot of self-funding in the first place, and that's why we've been able to get to this point and build the engine for a few years so that it's ready for us to put all this content in and spin that up. But obviously every dollar will help us towards expanding the team and towards actually making the project happen better and faster. So we and not to mention it actually allows us to be really clear on that there are people who really want this and that are willing to help support us to make that happen, and that they've believed in us, and at least can believe in us now that they see the content in the game and can pay $2 to go check it out and see that it's all there and working pretty well so far. And with many improvements, actually, as well.
I mean, one of the things I wanted to mention is that when we were talking about the launch and how we're actually going to do this internally, we kind of came to the realization that, we wanted to get something in the hands of the players as soon as possible, but if we were too loud about something that was so early access, it would, create a lot of negatives in the terms of, people's first primary opinions. So when we did launch back in, I believe, October, something like that, we were very quiet about it at first, only originally leaking it directly through a mailing list and our Discord channel. So, the most active and the most, ground level people that really love and support Infinity Wars were the only people that found out about it originally. And over time, we've been getting a little bit louder and a little bit louder. And we actually got a huge influx very recently when, for the first time, we told our Steam people about it.
So big shout out to all the Steam users who happen to have Infinity Wars 1 there, or they had it on their wish list. That's the only reason why it would show up in their news.
Or if they watched the game.
Yeah, cool. So thanks for keeping it on your computer, or happening to keep it on your computer, and then now you can access the game. So that's cool. What else we got? Infinity Wars 2. Sorry, we do want to address this. So obviously we've been going through a navigation this year and just trying to really line up what we're going to do that's going to make the most sense for the card engine. And that was originally to do an Infinity Wars 2, but the Infinity Wars 2 is a bigger project, and we want it to be a much bigger project. So we want to give it the resources and the time that it deserves, and especially during the design phase to be able to really flesh out different versions of what it could be, and even updating or bringing new major systems into the game. So it will be a bit of a longer process there. So one of the things that we'll do is we will be setting up something accordingly for the people who have pre-ordered it. We'll be in contact soon, actually, to organise something for you guys to tie you over until we have the next version of Infinity Wars 2 out, which will be we're hoping for first quarter of next year. But like I said, we've got a couple of massive priorities with bringing Infinity Wars Classic up to speed as much as possible, as well as the mobile version for Infinity Heroes and tutorial systems as well for Infinity Heroes. So they're the major projects on the horizon.
And of course, the Infinity Card engine tying all of those things together.
Yeah.
And whereas we create a system for one of the games, it's something we can call upon for all of the others. So,
That's right.
no matter which project we focus on, all of them see some sort of benefit, even if it's not reaped immediately.
It's generally, depending on the system, it's upwards of 75% of the system that can be just borrowed across and then just add the content in it. So for example, the tutorial system, once it's loaded on, we could do an Infinity Wars Classic tutorial reasonably quickly. Now, we are getting surprised by a number of people actually coming into Classic that weren't Infinity Wars 1 players. It's starting to happen now, and they're asking us how to play the game. So
as well
please...
as a couple of our own internal testers that just jumped onto the company, so yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be, if you notice anyone who doesn't know how to play, just give them a hand or whatever if you want to hop on with Discord for now, while we get those systems ready for you guys. It's a bit earlier than we expected to have these people coming on to Classic as well.
Yeah. Remember, be friendly and be patient. That's all we ask.
That's right. And so maybe finally we'll talk about the Christmas break. So we'll be breaking on Friday and trying to make sure everything's tied up as neatly as possible so that you guys can be enjoying it. Jason and myself will be available throughout the period at points if you really get anything really bad happens. But for the most part we want to try and focus elsewhere for a couple of weeks. What are you guys up to in your Christmas break? And we'll finish on that point.
Yeah, visiting the family, catching up. COVID was a distance from civilization, so now I've got to reconnect with civilization.
Nice. I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm heading out to the countryside, away from technology and away from people.
Sure.
They are actually helping me bring my computer though, so when there's nothing to do, I can play Cyberpunk 2077 and experience the amazing bugs. And it's been a real fun experience because I was hyped about it, but I set my expectations low. And then when it came out buggy, I was like, alright, fine. I bought it just because I wanted to see what it was like firsthand.
Luckily it was on PC, it seems fine for me when I'm playing it. So, I'll be actually doing a preview of a game design course that is run by one of my associates in the field. So that'll be really cool. Think like a game designer. Look it up. It's pretty good. His podcast is actually really good if you're into game design. So there's that. And then, maybe going away for a little bit as well. How about yourself, Kat?
I'm just doing a big old road trip to Brisbane.
Nice.
Awesome. Anything on there or just because?
It's my brother's wedding and Christmas and my birthday and all sorts of things.
Oh, cool.
Exciting. Happy birthday for them.
Yeah. I think that's basically everything we have to cover. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the InfinityCast. Huge thank you to the Patreons, which are now coming on screen.
Right now.
Yep. And we'll be seeing everybody else in the next episode. All the best, and we'll see you there.